Why are you always tired? If you always end the day exhausted, this video is for you. Have you ever felt like others take advantage of your kindness? Do you struggle to say no, even if it means going against yourself? Or maybe you feel tired, overwhelmed, and drained, with no energy left to make good decisions? In this video, you'll discover why learning to set boundaries, taking care of your diet, getting enough sleep, and stopping yourself from solving everyone else's problems can completely transform your life. It's not just about physical well-being, it's about reclaiming control over your time, your energy, and your decisions. Stick around until the end, because these keys won't just help you feel better about yourself. They'll also give you the strength to start living with more freedom and balance. What is decision fatigue, and how can you avoid it? If you live an active lifestyle, hold a leadership position, or work in an environment where you constantly need to make decisions or interact with people, you've most likely already experienced decision fatigue. It's those days when you feel exhausted and drained, overwhelmed by all the events and decisions you've had to deal with. Why do you make worse decisions when you're tired? On days when you feel especially fatigued, cognitive biases tend to influence you more easily, leading you to make impulsive decisions. It's in those moments that you might skip your evening walk, eat something unhealthy, or even pour yourself a drink, things you normally wouldn't do. This happens because your body's resources are limited, and the constant effort of making decisions and solving problems drains your mental energy. Fortunately, there are ways to protect yourself from this daily mental fatigue. Here are 5 simple tips you can easily apply to your daily routine. 1. Standardize unimportant tasks. Create a strategy so that low-priority decisions are made automatically. For example, if you have a gym membership, choose fixed days to go: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Plan your weekly meals so you're not constantly thinking about what to cook. Make a grocery list that you can quickly review so you don't waste time figuring out what you do or don't have at home. Set up your wardrobe with pre-decided outfit combinations so you don't waste time each morning figuring out what to wear. Keep a list of go-to dishes you prepare when guests come over, along with the ingredients you need for them. Schedule general cleaning for Saturdays. The key is having predefined answers to everyday questions like when to do laundry, what to eat, what to buy, what time to go to bed or wake up. When these actions are standardized, you'll stop wasting energy on the little things. 2. Use daily automation to your advantage. Take advantage of technology to simplify your life. Use digital calendars to keep track of your meetings, monthly tasks, and important events so you don't have to remember everything yourself. Automate the payment of recurring bills by setting them up through your online banking. Use modern technology like robotic vacuum cleaners to help with household chores. In short, automate everything you can. It will save you time and allow you to reserve your mental energy for truly important decisions. 3. Plan your day with purpose. Organize your day in a hierarchical way, starting with the most important tasks. Always begin with those that require the most mental energy or involve key decisions, as that's when you're most rested and able to concentrate. Good time management helps reduce decision fatigue and increases your productivity without burning you out. 4. Don't make decisions on an empty stomach. It's not just about avoiding grocery shopping when you're hungry. In general, don't make important decisions without having eaten first. When your energy reserves are low, so is your ability to think clearly. So before making a major decision, make sure you've eaten something and that you're in the right condition to think things through. 5. Take care of your mental energy every day. Remember, your mental energy is limited, and every decision you make, no matter how small, uses up some of that energy. By applying simple strategies like planning your day, using daily automation, and standardizing habits, you'll not only reduce decision fatigue, but also gain clarity, well-being, and control over your life. 6. Learn to say no. Protect your personal boundaries. If you've built a reputation for always saying yes and always being willing to help, people may start asking you for things even when it's unnecessary, or when they could easily handle the situation on their own. For example, someone might ask you to help with a move, even though there are moving companies for that. Or they may ask you to regularly babysit or take on work responsibilities that aren't yours. At first, when you start saying no, some people might get upset. But think about it. Is it really worth maintaining relationships where your kindness is taken for granted or even exploited? Of course, it's important to find a balance and remain an empathetic person. But when you feel people are taking advantage of you, it's crucial to set boundaries and stand up for your own interests. Over time, others will come to understand that you have the right to say no, and that your needs matter too. 7. Get good sleep, the foundation of all your decisions. Figure out how many hours of sleep you need to feel rested, and make sure you get that amount every day. Ideally, try to stick to a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same times during the week and on weekends. You shouldn't go to bed after midnight or wake up after 8 in the morning. Sleep is a fundamental biological need. Only by getting proper rest can you have the physical and mental energy required to face daily decisions with calm and clarity. 8. Balance nutrition. Energy to make good decisions. Make sure your diet is rich and varied. Include fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, and dairy products. These foods provide the vitamins and minerals your body needs to function properly. Avoid alcohol, coffee, soft drinks, and processed sweets as much as possible. Try not to overeat and have dinner a few hours before going to bed. It's also a good idea to maintain a healthy weight. This advice might seem unrelated to decision-making, but in reality, it's not. Food is energy, and energy is essential for thinking clearly, staying in a good mood, and acting consciously. Your physical well-being has a direct impact on your emotional and mental health. 9. Don't make decisions for others. Free your mind. Driven by the desire to help, it's easy to take on responsibilities that aren't really yours. You might look for an apartment for a friend who complains about high rent, prepare exercises for your mother because her knees hurt, or spend half an hour waking up your 18-year-old son so he won't be late for class. In these cases, you can offer help, but making decisions for others isn't truly helpful. You're giving them the fish instead of teaching them how to fish. And if you analyze these situations, you'll realize that often those people didn't need your help at all. You've simply wasted your time and energy. Let your son be late so he learns about cause and effect. Allow your mother to decline your support if she chooses. Trust that your adult friend can find cheaper rent if they really need to. When you return responsibility to those it belongs to, you're actually helping them more than you think. The 5 cognitive biases that sabotage your decisions and how to defend yourself from them. Are you really the one making your decisions, or is your brain doing it for you without you even realizing? Every day, you make dozens of decisions, but what you may not know is that many of them are influenced by invisible cognitive biases that push you in certain directions without you noticing. Have you ever wondered why certain prices seem more attractive to you? Why you tend to agree only with people who think like you? Or why you feel more confident even when you know very little? In this part of the video, you'll discover the most common mental errors in decision-making, how they work, and most importantly, how you can defend yourself against them to take real control of your life. What you'll learn could make a huge difference in the way you think and act. Stay until the end because some of these biases are so well disguised that even the smartest people aren't immune to them. 1. The anchoring effect, the trap of the first piece of information. Before making any decision, your brain needs a reference point, an anchor, to start comparing options. By default, it tends to take the first piece of information it receives as that anchor, even if it's not the most relevant or objective. This bias is widely used in sales. First, you're shown an expensive product, then a cheaper one. The second will seem more appealing simply because it was compared to something much pricier. However, that doesn't mean it's the best option for you. Changing that anchor is difficult, but not impossible. If you're aware of its existence, you can actively question it and replace it with criteria that are more aligned with your real goals. Make decisions based on your priorities, not on the first number you heard. 2. The confirmation bias, when you only hear what you want to hear. Your brain loves being right. That's why it tends to seek out information that confirms what you already believe. Whether it's an article, a political opinion, or a conversation with a neighbor, it's always more comfortable to surround yourself with ideas that reinforce your point of view. But if you only listen to those who think like you, you'll never see the full picture. To avoid falling into this trap, actively seek out conversations with people who think differently. Make an effort to understand their reasons. Only then can you enrich your perspective and make truly informed decisions. 3. The power of memory, Not everything you remember is important. Your brain tends to give more weight to information it remembers most easily. But what's most memorable isn't always what's most relevant. Sometimes you make decisions quickly based on the first thing that comes to mind, without considering other options or facts you might have forgotten. Don't make hasty decisions based solely on what's easy to recall. Pause, look over other factors you might be overlooking, and make sure to evaluate all available information. 4. The optimism bias. Not everything will go right, and it's okay if it doesn't. Optimism is a good thing. It gives you energy, keeps you motivated, and helps you move forward. But too much optimism can blind you to real risks. That's why you should always have a plan B. To avoid this bias, try to see the situation from the outside, like a neutral observer. Ask yourself, what could go wrong? Write down all the possible negative scenarios and revisit your decision with that information in mind. That way, you'll be prepared for the best and for the worst. 5. The Dunning-Kruger effect. When you know little but think you know a lot. This bias is especially dangerous. People with little experience or knowledge in a subject tend to overestimate their abilities, while those who actually have real expertise often doubt themselves and underestimate their judgment. The solution? If you feel like you don't know much but speak with great confidence, take the time to learn more, do your research, and compare your views with experts. And if you're someone who constantly doubts yourself despite having knowledge, work on your self-esteem. Recognizing your worth is essential for making strong decisions. The fear of loss, the mental trap that keeps you from moving forward. Every important decision comes at a price. Choosing one option means giving up another. This is known as the opportunity cost. Very often, we're afraid of losing what we already have, like a stable job, and that fear holds us back from starting our own business. But the opposite also happens. Some people are afraid to even try because they might lose the dream that excites them. What if I start and fail? What if I lose hope? To avoid this cognitive bias, sit down calmly and write out all the pros and cons of the decision you're considering. Then, imagine the worst-case scenario. Is it really as catastrophic as you thought? Probably not. By rationalizing your fear, it becomes easier to make clear-headed decisions. The survivor bias, when you only see success and ignore thousands of failures. This mental bias is rooted in selective thinking. We tend to focus only on the success stories that inspire us, ignoring the many who failed. For example, it's true that some millionaires dropped out of school, but there are also thousands who did the same and never achieved anything. To avoid survivor bias, always look at the full picture. Analyze real statistics from the field. How many people actually fail by following that same path? Is that success story the exception or the rule? Use data, not emotion. Tunnel vision can lead you straight to a bad decision. The urge to act, when doing something, is worse than waiting. In times of crisis or uncertainty, our brain seeks movement. We feel that doing something is better than doing nothing, even if that's not always true. A clear example is the goalkeeper during a penalty kick. They often dive to one side, even though statistically the best option is to stay in the center. This urge also appears in everyday life. But acting on impulse can be costly. Ask yourself, is it really necessary to act right now? Or can I wait, reflect, and then decide? Sometimes, the best action is to pause. Self-serving bias. Your successes are yours. Others' failures are theirs. This cognitive bias leads us to attribute our achievements to our own abilities, while blaming external factors for our failures. If a business does well, we believe it's thanks to our talent. If it goes poorly, we blame the market, taxes, or timing. To overcome this, acknowledge that you too make mistakes. Analyze the decisions you made, where you went wrong, and what you could improve. Only by taking real responsibility can you grow and move forward. Critical thinking begins with yourself. The authority bias. Does this person really know what they're talking about? One of the most common biases is blindly following authority figures. We carry it from childhood. If someone seems important, we tend to believe what they say, even if they have no real knowledge of the subject. A celebrity recommends a politician or a face cream. Ask yourself, do they have any background in politics or dermatology? Were they paid to give their opinion? Be critical. Not everyone with influence is right. Learn to question, even when it comes to respected figures. Accepting that we're all vulnerable to thinking errors is the first step to making more conscious and accurate decisions. By identifying these cognitive biases, you can begin to see the world more clearly, stop sabotaging yourself, and act with greater freedom and responsibility. If you end each day feeling exhausted, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing too much. It might mean you're putting your energy into things that don't fulfill you or bring you closer to what you truly want. Taking a moment to reflect, prioritize, and act with intention can completely transform your routine and your life. If you want to keep developing yourself and learning to think more critically and rationally, subscribe to my channel with book summaries. Here, you'll find powerful and practical ideas to help you grow both personally and professionally. Your support means a lot to me.